right, so we got Ollanius, Persson, Pius. Explained by an Australian. Listen, I don't know who this guy is. I don't want to disrespect. I mean, obviously, I shouldn't be scared because we all know, bro. Like, we all know who's the best of all time. We all know who the greatest of all time is because I don't care if your name is Ollanius, Persson. I don't care if your name is Sanguinius. I don't care if your name is the Lion. I don't care if your name's G-Thug. It doesn't matter because we all know. Hey. Mac and cheese, Mickey D's. Ooh, my knees. Vulcan 5. I got Vulcan sweeping anybody, okay? So let's just, I don't want to be that guy, but you know.
G'day guys and gals.
Hey,
What if I
Majorkill.
told you that the oldest human to ever live in Warhammer 40k was not Dante or Bjorn the Fell-Handed, not even the Emperor? No, it's
Really?
actually a humble Catholic farmer who just wanted to be left alone.
Oh!
The only thing was that he couldn't actually die.
Wait, this is the Emperor's friend, right? Right? The dude that he's like religious, right? Yeah, I know him. Hey, I'm catching up on my lore. See, I know.
With his destiny guiding him to save the Emperor from himself, thus saving the entire galaxy. His name was Ollanius Persson, known to many as Ollanius Pius, and with him being over 45,000 years old at the time of his death, as well as him being one of the Emperor's closest friends and occasional enemy.
Hey, being 45,000 years old is diabolical. Hey, shout out to you for making it that old. Like, you know, shout out to you, yeah.
Needless to say, this dude has some spicy lore. Before we get started, you guys are fucking awesome. Whether it be from the incredible response to Die Star or of the perpetual Ollanius Persson, detailing his relationship with the Emperor, what he did during the Horus Heresy, and how he finally died. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
When we first encounter old Persson in the lore, he's a pretty chill, laid-back farmer on Calth. He radiates that retired John Wick energy, a man who has fought in 1,000 battles and killed countless men, but now just wants to live a peaceful life.
Man, his forearms are crazy. Yo, what type of forearm workouts he be doing? Okay.
He was also lightly made fun of for being Catholic, which confused people since that religion was destroyed amongst the rest many years prior. The galaxy, Ol wore his cross, and as such, was often referred to Pius Ol, something that would help lead into his mythical name of Ollanius Pius. However, his story doesn't start as a farmer on Calth. It starts 40,000 years prior, in the city of Nineveh, an ancient city in what is now known as Iraq. Ol was born as a perpetual, a human being who would not age past their prime and could regenerate from almost any wound. The only thing that could truly kill him was either Fulgurite, which was a shard of the Emperor's psychic might, or an extremely powerful blast of psychic energy, like with what Magnus did to Malkador, as well as what may have happened to Vulcan during the War of the Beast. We don't know much of what Ol did in the 7,000 years before the Emperor would be born, however he may have been various historical figures, such as being one of the Argonauts of old ancient Greek mythology. After all, if anyone was to appear in ancient mythology as some kind of wise, unkillable hero, it would be a perpetual. Eventually, the Emperor and Ollanius met and decided to work together. The Emperor wanted to gather all the perpetuals to his side, people who would live long enough to see his vision fulfilled and had the wisdom and will to do so. Now, unlike many perpetuals, Ollanius didn't have any bonus powers. He wasn't a psyker like the Emperor or Malkador. He also couldn't enter this avatar form like Eldar could. He was just Ol, undying as he was, but quite ordinary otherwise. But if anything, that was his greatest strength. It kept him human and humble. Amazingly, Ollanius was actually the Emperor's war master in these early days, leading his armies in ancient times. Although the Emperor mostly allowed mankind to evolve on its own, he would take out threats that were beyond mankind's ability or intervene when there was something he wanted. For example, when the Emperor took out the Void Dragon shard, it was because normal humanity didn't stand a chance, but also the shard was essential for his plan with Mars. Likewise, the Emperor and his army assaulted the Tower of Babylon. There was a chaos cult in the tower who had learned Annuncia, the language of the universe, which is theorized to be what the Old Ones used to speak. Annuncia was an extremely powerful language. It could kill, heal, destroy, build with simple words, completely bypassing the warp.
Wait, what? Yo, that's some cheat code-ish right there. Yo, so you telling me, like, if I wanted to, let's say, like, build a castle, I could be like, Assalamu alaikum. Or, yo, like, I could just, like, say a bunch of just, like, random-ish. Lakers in 5. Like, just, stuff can just happen?
Anyone could learn Annuncia, however mispronouncing the words could cause your mouth to explode. Even using it without full mastery would usually end in a split lip and a raging headache. The cult blasted the Emperor with the full might of Annuncia. The Emperor was hit in the balls but said, "I'm the fucking Emperor," so he charged through their attack and butchered them. Ollanius and the Emperor stood in the tower. It was corrupted and full of forbidden knowledge. Ol wanted to destroy it as he was the typical good versus evil, don't use the weapons of the enemy sort of guy, you know, common sense. The Emperor, on the other hand, was tremendously arrogant and believed all knowledge to have use, and that he would be immune to its corrupting effects. To be fair, if anyone could read a Chaos book and actually learn something without corruption, it would be the Emperor. The Emperor wanted to keep the tower and study it. Ollanius knew in that moment he could no longer follow the Emperor, as that level of hubris would end in damnation. So Ollanius stabbed the Emperor and then used his own Annunciator to bring the tower down. The Emperor was upset, not that he lost the tower and was stabbed, or maybe a little bit, but that he had lost his good friend Oll. The other Perpetuals would slowly abandon the Emperor over time, put off by his obscene ambitions, until only Malcador remained. This deeply upset the Emperor, as the Perpetuals were supposed to be his war leaders and generals, his companions, not the Primarchs. The Primarchs were a plan B after the Perpetuals had left him.
Damn.
As a side note, Perpetuals were extremely—
Wait, the Primarchs were a plan B? That's tough. I'm gonna keep it honest with you. Bro, imagine being like so hard working and ambitious that like the other people that you thought, you know, that were gonna help you, you know, rise to like conccasion. I said conccasion. Rise to the conccasion. Rise to the occasion, you know, and actually win and stuff like that, bro. Imagine like having all of them quit on you, bro, because like you're that much of a hardworking person. Yo, Big E, I understand, bro.
dangerous if they knew Annuncia. They had thousands of years to master it, whereas most men only had a few dozen years, and they could quickly heal from overusing it or mispronouncing words, whereas normal men would either be maimed, killed, or injured. Now, for whatever reason, Oll seemed to really enjoy war, or at least he had an extremely strong sense of right and wrong, so whenever there was a war, where it seemed like there was a clear good guy and bad guy side, he would get involved. Not as a general or a captain, he would literally get in the trenches and fuck shit up. He fought in the Battle of Austerlitz, which was the most important battle during the Napoleonic Wars. He fought in the Battle of Verdun, during which he fought a Khornite-blessed cannibal warrior, the Battle of 73 Easting, among many, many more. He even spent a large chunk of his time in the Imperium as a guardsman for the Great Crusade. For whatever reason, Oll enjoyed a good battle. He was so distinguished that the Imperium gave him the right to retire and settle on whatever world he desired with a plot of land. He chose Calth and Ultramar. It was a prosperous, verdant world. He could live a simple farmer's life and practice his faith in peace. Oll was a haunted, hollow man though. He was a good man, but he had lived to watch all of his loved ones grow old and die, time and time again. Dude was fucking 45,000 years old. Now, as a side note, for a period of time between John abandoning the Emperor and joining the Imperial Army, he was an agent of the Cabal, a Xeno organization that used human perpetuals as agents to help them achieve their goals, most of which revolved around fighting chaos. However, unlike other perpetual agents who were given their power by the Cabal, Oll was a natural-born perpetual, so when he decided to stop working for the Cabal, they didn't have any leverage in order to prevent it. It really looked like Oll would finally be able to enjoy a life of peace on Calth. But that all changed when the Wordbearers attacked, launching a devastating genocidal invasion of Calth. It was carnage, shit was exploding everywhere and there were demons eating people and shit. It was fucked. This is when Oll was given a vision by his old friend John Grammaticus, another perpetual agent of the Cabal. However, John was sick of working for the Xenos who would—
I know John. We know John, y'all. We know him.
trying to sacrifice humanity to maybe beat chaos.
Yeah,
he realized that they
we
needed to
know
get to
him.
the Emperor and help him, so he sent Oll on a hectic quest that would take him through time and space to try reach Terra. Oll didn't like
we
the
know
Emperor,
John, y'all.
but he hated Chaos a whole lot more. He accepted the quest and gathered a few of the survivors of Calth with him, as well as stealing a Chaos Athame from a cultist that he could use to cut holes in time and space to act as portals. They used this to escape Calth. Ollanius guided his merry band of buddies through different times and places. Some were thousands of years prior, others were in the future. It was a mess, but as there was no direct way to Terra, they had to deal with it. Another issue was that they were now being hunted by Chaos as well as the Cabal. Oll's mission was seen as so important and impactful that Chaos was shitting itself and trying extremely hard to stop him. However, with how random their journey through time and space was, as well as how resourceful Oll was, they were able to stay ahead of the enemy. After 6 years of travel, they finally arrived on Terra midway through the siege. This was bad though, as a lot of the world had now been corrupted and captured, with them arriving in an era controlled by the Emperor's children who were doing some freaky shit. However, luckily, John Grammaticus and a proto-space marine called Litu, one of the first ever made by the Emperor and Eldar, arrived to rescue them. However, the Slaaneshi sluts wouldn't let them go so easily, and as they were about to fall, a witch called Actae, as well as an Alpha Legion marine calling himself Alpharius, arrived to save them. In truth, this marine was Ingo Peck, the first captain of the Alpha Legion, and he had been—
This is the Alpharius guy, right, bro? His colors are hard. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Hey, I'm gonna keep it real, bro. His colors are nice. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm gonna keep it completely real, y'all. His colors are nice, y'all. They are. No lie, bro. They are.
activated to fight Chaos and save the Imperium. Our merry band of heroes proceed to the palace. They need to reach the Emperor. However, they are shot down before they can arrive because of course they were. However, Ingo knew the secret passages of the palace and was able to guide them all the way to the inner palace, where they encountered a custodian. The custodian interrogated them but saw that Ollanius was important, so he agreed to take them to the Emperor to fulfill the quest. However, the Emperor had already left to go fight Horus, so only Vulcan was there to greet Ollanius and friends. Vulcan was sympathetic and wanted to give them all hugs, but Ollanius felt like shit. He wasn't able to reach the Emperor and he thought he had failed and all would be lost. But his buddies were like, nah, fuck that noise, dude, let's keep questing. So they continued onwards. Then the biggest turbo fuck.
Y'all ain't give Vulcan a hug? You know, if you would have gave Vulcan a hug, you would have felt his power. You would have felt the greatest of all time. Power, bro. Bro, if I was to give Vulcan a hug, bro, my whole body, I'll start shaking like a salt shaker out here, bro. Bro, oh man. Bro, I wish I could give Vulcan a hug, bro.
Head of them all arrived. Erebus, the Hand of Destiny.
Give me a hug, give me a hug, give me a hug.
He slaughtered most of Ol's buddies except John, Litu, and the witch Acte, yet they escaped and pushed on, but then they're attacked by more word bearers. Dude literally can't catch a break. However, before they were overwhelmed, a custodian that was being possessed by the Emperor appeared to them and saved them. The Emperor was ascending to become the Dark King, the Chaos God of Ruin, in order to guarantee victory against Horus. The Emperor believed that he could control the power and wouldn't let it destroy the galaxy, but everyone else knew otherwise. However, the Emperor wasn't quite too far gone yet and was shocked to see Ollanius, his oldest friend here in this place now. Ollanius roasted the Emperor, telling him that he had gone too far and that his plan failed because he was so absolutely sure in his own superiority. The Emperor countered that Oll wasted his immortality and gifts and that he abandoned him. Oll says he would rather do nothing at all than too much. Oll is able to talk down the Emperor from becoming the Dark King, pointing out that it's just another shortcut on his road to damnation instead of taking the harder, riskier, less ordained route. The Emperor relinquishes his power and banishes the Dark King. A wave of power explodes out of the Emperor, restoring his warriors and allies to health, banishing a shitload of chaos energy, freeing Rogal Dorn from his warp prison, and all around just giving the loyalists the boost they need.
Damn.
The Emperor tells Ollanius that he must survive the war, he must not go any further. However, Oll realizes that the Dark King banishment has fixed his special chaos knife, a knife he believes can genuinely kill Horus. He realizes that all along, his quest was to bring the Emperor this knife so that the Emperor may triumph. He begs the witch Acte to teleport him and John to the duel between the Emperor and Horus. She obliges, and as they arrive, John blasts Horus off his feet with a mega dose of Annuncia, giving Oll enough time to run to the Emperor's side. The Emperor is extremely wounded and unresponsive as Oll begs the Emperor to stand up and get up. He promises the Emperor that he will never leave his side again, that he will be with him until the end of time. All he needs to do is get up. He puts the Chaos Knife in the Emperor's hand. The Emperor's too wounded to speak to Oll, but as a final gesture, he manifests two tarot cards, the Guardsman and the Lantern, a final way of telling Oll that he loves him. Oll senses Horus getting up and approaching from behind, so he turns around and says, "Not one step closer, you bold fuck," and he completely unloads his lasgun into Horus. Horus doesn't even blink before hitting Oll so hard that Oll is obliterated.
Damn.
Now, usually obliteration is a mild inconvenience for a perpetual, but with Horus being so souped up on warp power, the strike destroyed Ollanius, ending his long life. It was not a waste though. The precious seconds Oll bought allowed the Emperor to recover enough to continue the fight, and it was with that Chaos Knife that the Emperor finally slew Horus with, defeating Chaos and winning the war. The quest of Ollanius had not only saved the galaxy from the Dark King, but also allowed the Emperor to slay Horus and win the war. Not fucking bad. In Imperial legend, the story of Ollanius Persson was combined with that of Ollanius Pius, a guardsman who stood before Angron and was slain, to create the myth of Saint Ollanius Pius. The legend tells of a guardsman that stood between Horus and the Emperor, giving up his life to save his liege and creating the opening the Emperor needed to win. It's basically the ultimate everyone is important, from the lowly guardsman all the way to the Emperor, with Saint Ollanius Pius being the patron saint of all guardsmen. It's crazy how accurate the legend ended up being. Here's to Ollanius, the greatest friend the Emperor never deserved, who cut his way through time and space to be by the Big East side during his darkest hour. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then pick up.
Wow, man! Shout out to Majorkill, man, for this video. That kind of got a little emotional at the end. Wow, that was crazy, man. Comment down below, y'all. What do y'all think about this? This was crazy. Hey, wow. Oh my goodness, wowzer. Hey, I'm gonna keep it real. Hey, Ollanius. Ollanius, Persson, Pius, whatever your name is. I'm gonna keep it real, bro. He was the guy, bro. Living 45,000 years is diabolical. I'm gonna keep it real. Like, you may think that sounds all great or whatever. Oh, well, 45,000 years, whatever, bro. Like, everybody around you is gonna pass away. Obviously, the world's gonna change, right? Which isn't always a bad thing, but at the same time, it's not always a good thing either. So, Other than that, man, shout out to him. Shout out to my boy John for being clutch. Shout out to the Emperor. Of course, shout out to Majorkill. And last but not least, man, shout out to all you guys, man, for watching. I really appreciate it. Hopefully I was able to make y'all smile or laugh or whatever you want to call it. And like I said before, man, cheesecake, chocolate cake, vanilla cake. Vulcan 5.